Since the dawn of humanity, countless cultures around the world have held prophecies and tales foretelling a time when an epic final battle between the forces of light and dark would destroy the earth, and where the victorious forces would be given the power to become the rulers over a new reality. And though to many this battle may seem like the legendary stuff of stories, there are those who believe that the final battle is upon us. For though it is possible that we will see an escalating conflict rise across the face of the earth in the days and months to come, it is essential to realize that these external battles are only a reflection of the conflict that is raging within the hearts and souls of so many across the world today. The increasing tensions that are rising on our global stage are surfacing in an effort to help us recognize the conflict that is taking place in the consciousness of each one of us. For today there are many who are awakening to the truth that humanity has lost its way. People all over the world are beginning to realize that the race of man is walking an unsustainable path, and that our governments, whom we have entrusted with the care of our planet and its populace, are willfully destroying the earth and its inhabitants in their tireless conquest for war and wealth. However, because we have become so dependent on the existing system and structures for our comfort and survival, many people feel powerless to step off the path and live a life that is in alignment with the truth that is growing in their hearts. For they fear that if they remove their support from the system that they have come to depend on, that threat to the system will then result in a threat to their own survival. We have a growing number of people around the world who are denying the truth of their hearts for fear of the possible threat it may pose to their comfort and survival in the present. While these same people are beginning to realize that their continuing support of the existing system along its current path will at some point in the not-too-distant future lead to the inevitable destruction of the planet. For in a world where so many are living only for material achievement and survival, it will not be until that material reality is threatened with extinction, and when money and luxury fail to satisfy our needs for peace and comfort, that the majority of people will awaken to the worthlessness of material wealth and success, and thereby be inspired to seek inwards to find a new purpose and meaning for life. For there are many in today's world who are willingly selling their souls by taking jobs that contribute to the suffering of the earth and others in an effort to climb the ladder of success and survival, while others, whose occupations may seem more caring and considerate, are still so preoccupied with their individual pursuits of fun and fulfillment that they consistently turn a blind eye to the suffering that is caused by their willing participation in our self-destructive society. And when amidst the collapse of the temporary material, we come to see the strength and beauty of the eternal spirit that remains, then each of us will have the opportunity to acknowledge the truth that our purpose for existence is not to attain wealth, pleasure, and success for the self in the material, but rather we exist only to develop our spiritual selves and souls by learning to live a life that demonstrates a love and respect for all. And though there are some whose fear of death and the end of the world as we know it will cause them to continually deny the liberating law that all that has been made will be unmade, and we can choose to either run from it and eventually be overtaken, or to face the fact and thereby be freed from our fears. However, in our present world, many people are simply unwilling or unable to consider the inevitability of death or destruction, while anyone who speaks aloud the universal fact that the world as we know it will one day come to an end is labeled a conspiracy theorist, freak, or fearmonger. And yet what those accusing fail to understand is that it is only by contemplating the inevitable end of ourselves and the world as we know it, that we can then prepare ourselves for the eventuality. For the end is sure to come someday. And for those who are unable to cope with this fact now, before it happens, how will they ever be able to deal with it when the time finally comes? Another essential role that the end of days plays in assisting humanity's spiritual evolution, whose absolute necessity ensures that the days of tribulation are sure to come, is the opportunity that they provide to humble a humanity that has become so prideful of its achievements of the age that it has forgotten the will and existence of the creative intelligence known to many as God or Great Spirit. For it is the power that unmanageable strife has to encourage humanity to first realize its own limitations, and therefore awaken to the power and presence of the divine. For it is clear in our world today that humanity is in need of a healthy helping of humble pie, so that in waking to its own limitations and false perceptions, it may then come to realize new truths and perceive the existence of a force far greater than itself. For the race of man has become willful and godless. Not only has it forgotten the existence of Great Spirit, but it no longer respects the spirit that resides in all living things. Rather, man in his confusion has come to falsely believe that he himself, through his material achievements of mind and metal, is the master of the heavens and the earth. In his pride and ignorance, man has cast aside the universal laws of the Creator and lives instead according to the false laws that he himself has devised. Illusory laws that have been put in place to justify and perpetuate the madness of our current self-obsessed existence. Thus the profusion of suffering and selfishness put forth by humanity, along with the prideful demonstration of its willingness to toy with things it does not understand, ensures that one day the Great Spirit will arise from his slumber and unleash the end of days, whose breaking of the world will show humanity that it is indeed the Great Spirit, and not material-minded man, who is truly the master of the heavens and the earth. The end is coming on the four corners of the earth. I shall call you to account for your conduct, and bring all your abominations on your own heads. I shall make you suffer for your conduct and the abominations that are in your midst. And then you will know that I am Lord. And though many among our prideful humanity will be quick to deny their involvement in shaping the state of the world, and will instead lay the blame at the feet of others, including God, and those that they would call the oppressors or orchestrators of our reality, it is essential to realize here that anyone who wishes to progress further on the spiritual path will be required to humble themselves and acknowledge the part that they themselves have played in making the world what it is. For it is in the act of humbling ourselves that we demonstrate the quality of our souls. For if one is unable to humble oneself and acknowledge the parts of their being that are hindering their spiritual growth, how will they ever allow that growth to occur? Just as one who is not willing to empty their cup of what they believe is true will never allow for the inflowing of new wisdom and awareness. For what degree of pride and ignorance would spur one to lay the blame for what the world has become at the feet of the Creator? For all the Creator has done was in his infinite love and wisdom he gave to us a world, and the will to do with it what we would. and given the freedom to treat the earth either like a garden or a garbage dump, is it not our own actions and inaction that have made the world what it is today? And though others in their pride will look on in anger and shake their fists at the Creator because of the harm and suffering brought forth on man, one must remember that in accordance with the universal law of karmic returns, we always get what we deserve, as determined by the joy and pain we willfully impose on others. However, what so few people understand today is that we are given the power and free will to do such things, not because we should do them, but so that we may demonstrate the quality of our souls through the choice of our actions. For one who has the power to overcome others and take what he wants for himself from the world demonstrates the quality of his soul when he chooses to use his power and gifts not to hurt others, but rather to help them. For not only does the death and destruction that accompanies the end of days serve the purpose of humbling humanity to the power and presence of the Creator, along with making atonement for the suffering we have caused by allowing us to feel it ourselves, but the experience of the end of days also serves to provide the necessary process of purification, whereby all false perceptions of ourselves and the world will be cleansed, so that we as individuals and a civilization may see unobstructed the true quality of our consciousness and spirit. And with this awareness, one may then come to see that the soul cannot be harmed by the words or deeds of others. For the only hindrance to one's spiritual growth is the harm one does oneself by causing the suffering of others. And so accordingly, the only way that one may raise their soul to the highest heights is not by striving to attain for the self, but by giving freely of oneself to others. Words also eloquently echoed by the Christ through Jesus when speaking of the narrow path that we may take to evolve beyond our current self-obsessed material existence. He said, "Whoever tries to save his life will lose his life. Whoever freely gives his life in serving life will save his life." For those members of humanity who amidst the death and destruction of the end of days choose to surrender the self to spirit, will rise like phoenixes from the flames, thereby giving birth to a new humanity that honors and respects the oneness of life and the right to peace for all. And this restored humanity will once again be given the opportunity to live upon the earth, where it may continue its journey by learning the lessons that come, not by trying to rule over the earth as master, but by serving once more as the stewards of the earth, where the only law is love.
In